So we've now had 8 interviews, and today is the day. Transgender Day of Visibility. I thought it could be fun to make a short little compilation with snippets from all the people I interviewed, but I figured it was only fair for me to also provide answers to these questions I've been asking everybody. I could talk so much more about these things, but I wanted to keep it brief. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy. To me, Transgender Day of Visibility is about highlighting all of the wonderful trans and non-binary people out there, regardless of where you are in your transition, regardless of whether you've even started your transition, whether you've come out, whether you're living visibly or living in stealth, regardless of what your situation and journey looks like. We all have our own unique journeys, and there's no single one way to be trans, to be non-binary. And I think this helps provide a stark contrast to how people, both within and outside of our community, often view our community. We often focus on the negative, we often focus on tragedy, and it's understandable because we have so many fucking hardships in our community. So it's understandable to focus on the heartache and struggles, but we are so much more than that too. There is a beauty in being able to come out and being able to live our lives to the fullest and being able to be visible if that is also something that you want to do. And all of this is what this day really emphasizes for me.
For me personally, every day is Trans Day of Visibility. And so to me, it's just the same as usual. Let's talk about trans stuff. Let's educate people about trans stuff and let's get that out there.
And so I think when I think of, this day, I think of like hope. Like my whole like thought process is just centered around hope because at that time I was so hopeful. And like within the next year, I ended up coming out and starting my transition.
For me, Trans Day of Visibility celebrates my decision to live openly, live boldly, and kind of exist as an out and proud trans person and to celebrate other trans people.
I realized that I was transgender when I was 15 years old. However, my entire life, I knew that something was not right with me. I knew that something was different. And then I watched this like TV show about trans people, and I was like, oh my God, that's me. That's me. Like,
when the Trans Day of Visibility came about, it was like, we need a nice holiday. Like, we want something that celebrates us while we're still here, so that when we name ourselves and when we show up, we're still here and we're visible and we celebrate that. And we don't forget about our TDOR, because TDOR a lot of times is the cost of being visible for many of us, right? And so we really hold, the sacredness and the power of being visible. It was just like a nice balance, if you will, to the heaviness that we have on TDOR every year.
Yeah, I guess it's what it means to me mainly is courage, is that courage to be able to put yourself out there, like we always say. I've coined it from somebody, I don't know, it's like one of the most radical things that we can do, as persons of transgender experiences is to just be in the world.
In my coming out process, I didn't see anyone who looked like me in a dozen different ways. But I knew that I wasn't a girl, a woman, female, what have you, from a very young age, but there wasn't any language for that. And it seems so silly to me now looking back at that it was such a terrifying experience of not knowing how I was supposed to just be, what Naomi I was supposed to be. And then I met this individual, their name is Jack, someone who was as femmy as I am, who was also saying that they didn't have a gender. And from there, I felt comfortable enough to know that I could be just me. I could wake up and be me however I felt like and wanted to be me that day. And that was just as valid. And that it didn't mean that being me was proving that I was a woman or something to that degree.
As I've started to make my own content on the internet, I've also started to realize how important visibility is to folks who don't have that. One reason or another, whether it's community or family that won't be supportive, their own internal fears, they live in a country that outlaws being trans or will harm people who are being trans, all of those different reasons, and which there are many more. I think it's important to remember how much being visible is a powerful thing. I think also expressing pride in who we are. Like I am proud to be trans. I am proud to be who I am and who exist in the world as I do. Like it's a cool thing.
Many people in our community face discrimination, violence, and even murder for being visible, whether being visible was intentional or not. Because of this, I completely understand why many people are not visible, whether it's because you haven't started your transition yet or haven't come out to anyone or only a few people, or maybe you have transitioned and you're living stealth. Regardless of your situation, the world can and often is very scary and very violent to people like us. Regardless of your situation, though, know that you're valid, know that you're loved, and know that you're supported. There is a beauty in being able to be ourselves and being able to embrace our gender, being able to embrace these pieces of ourselves that society tells us that we shouldn't have. There's such a beauty in being able to be freed from those restrictions that are unfairly placed upon us.
I say, well, find ways to celebrate yourself and embrace yourself in a way that can be validating. That may not necessarily be visible for other people, but is visible to you.
You know, the world is bigger, and there are people out there that can give you that support and love you. And yeah, you're not alone. I know that's like cheesy and cliche, but like genuinely, you're not alone.
There's a myriad of different reasons why people can't be out and proud. So the first thing I want to say is you're completely valid as a trans person. Don't let not being out publicly invalidate you, because it's no different to what anyone else is doing. We're just oversharing it a bit too much.
If you don't want to have like the surgeries or the hormone replacement therapy, that's okay. Like your feelings are valid and you are valid, and we're not all the same.
You know, folks who have been there and done that and taking my inspiration and learning their wisdom is really what I would encourage our community to do, especially if we're struggling with the idea of visibility. And sometimes even if you can just be visible to yourself or to your puppy, like if you have a puppy, just kind of like say that you just want to wear a little nail polish or whatever it is and just kind of show up.
A lot of us go through cycles of that stealth and kind of test the waters with different communities and stuff, and then all of a sudden ghost the whole community and move or whatever. I think that's very common for us until we feel comfortable, because the world ain't there yet. The world ain't there yet. And so just do what you need to do and know that you're loved and that you're understood. And and there is places where you can get that support, even if you choose to live stealth. And I get it. I totally get it.
To those of you who can't be visible today, know that it's not about not being able to be visible to anyone else but yourself.
There are people who sadly don't understand the gift that being trans is, that you are giving to them. And I just want anybody who's in that situation to know that you are not the value that other people place on you around you. You are beautiful and amazing and wonderful and awesome and all those things that you deserve to hear about yourself every single day, because you are those things. Just understand that there are people who will appreciate the gift of you, and hopefully you will get a chance to share that gift with them, and hopefully you'll get a chance to meet people who will love that gift that is you.
It is hard to say what my favorite part of being trans is, but if I had to pick, it's probably being able to wake up as myself every single day. It's just so amazing. It's second to none. And sure, I definitely still have many days where I experience dysphoria. Some days are great, some days are terrible, but I am finally living a life where I feel like I don't have to hold back parts of myself anymore. I feel like I am just connected with myself on such a deep level, and this has allowed me to connect with others in ways that I had only ever dreamed of being possible, that I probably couldn't even dream up, that because it was so far and distant from where I was before I came out, before I accepted or at least started accepting this part of myself.
It's like being born anew. It's a new lens. It's a new leash on life. It's a reinvention of the self. And that is just a thrilling and exciting reset.
In a lot of ways, my entire life, I felt very constrained. Just like always, like I don't know, I always felt like I never really quite fit in like really anything. And so I don't know, finding myself, finding my identity as someone who is non-binary, it was just really freeing.
But for trans people, we create ourselves. We are living a life in what was our image of what we wanted to create for ourselves. So for me, it's that strength to be able to do that, and that sense of self and conviction to be able to live authentically the way you want to live, because it takes a lot of that guesswork out of who am I, what do I want to be, because you can just decide this is who I am, this is who I want to be, this is how I'm going to do it.
I really love the community, to really connect with another person that is in the same situation that you are, and it really helps.
I get to look for the gifts of being trans in the mix of all of the people that would tell us the curses of being trans. And so whenever I learn about like, oh, we get to choose our own name, that's a gift. Not everybody gets to do that. This idea of we are a people who takes broken glass and turns it into stained glass. Things that other people would think were garbage, we make beautiful.
I think being able to tell your experience to somebody, you're not wasting any time in relationships because you instantly know whether they're people that you can actually have a relationship with, or, you know what I mean? You're not going to, you instantly know what they're made out of if you tell them the skinny, right away. And I think that's always been, that's been one of my most positive things about being trans, for me.
And I know what a huge life-changing moment it was for me to meet somebody who said, nope, I don't have a gender, and was incredibly femme too. It's really exciting every single time I do a presentation or I show up at a college pre-pandemic, or I do any sort of training and a person comes up to me either afterwards, or during, or sends me an email months later that's like, I didn't know I could be both. I don't have to choose.
We allow ourselves to be dorky, weird, strange, out there, sort of not defined by the regular rules of society.
Well, there you have it, folks. A beautiful compilation, and I again wanted to throw my answers in for these questions because I figured it was only fair to answer these same things that I was asking everyone else. I definitely did not go into as much detail as I could have. I wanted to keep it brief. And on that note, what are your reactions to this Trans Day of Visibility video series that I put out? What feelings and thoughts are coming up for you on Trans Day of Visibility this year? And where do you aspire to be in your journey when next year's TDOV comes around? Let me know all of this and so much more down in the comments below. And as always, Tipsy and I love you all. Hope you're staying safe and sound. If you have not done so already, please be sure to give this a huge thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Be sure to check out the link below to, if you can, if it's within your means, to donate to one or more of the many amazing organizations that all of my interviewees have highlighted over the course of the past week and a half or so. And again, I love you all. Bye for now.